Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Black Hole. Today we are going to discuss how timeless Stoic principles can transform one's romantic relationships and how can one find balance, resilience, and deeper and better connections by applying philosophy to the ups and downs of love. And hence the title जो आप मेरी पुष्ट पे बोर्ड पे लिखा हुआ देख सकते हैं स्टोइक विजडम फॉर हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स अप्लाइंग फिलोसफी टू रोमांस। और इस मौजू पे इस इंटरेस्टिंग मौजू पे गुफ्तगू के लिए आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं अल्तमुश खान आतिश, जो मेरे दाएं जानिब तशरीफ़ फरमा है। मैं इनका मुख्तसर सा तारुफ करवाता जाऊँ। ही इज़ अ सीजन्ड गेम डिज़ाइनर with extensive experience, having served as the former lead game designer at the GameStorm Studios and Absologix. Throughout his career, he has worked on over 100 apps for Android, iOS, and PC. लेकिन other than his technical introduction, जो आज के मौजू की मुनासबत से अहम है, वो ये है कि his expertise in other than his expertise in game design, Altamush is a passionate philosophy enthusiast with a particular interest in ancient philosophies और बतौर ख़ास जो stoic wisdom है वो आपकी दिलचस्पी का ख़ास मौजू है। Now let's learn how one can develop a love that is strong, love that is wise, and love that is truly fulfilling. Please welcome Altamush Khan Attish. Thank you.
So since we're done with the introduction, I'll get straight to the point. What is Stoicism? Does anybody know what Stoicism is? Well, that's true. All right, so can anybody tell what Stoicism is?
This is what I understand. I'm very naughty.
That's exactly the point. Stoics try to not waste a person's time. That includes wasting the time of somebody that they love or they claim to love. So, if you do not know what Stoicism is, in short, Stoicism is basically, Stoics, what they say is, you have to take every opportunity that you have in life, everything that you see in life, everything that you do in life, is a chance for you to respond. That is basically Stoicism condensed. Of course, it's much more than that, but if you're a Stoic, you will analyze the situation and you will only think about how you can respond because that's in your control. And Stoicism is all about acknowledging what's in your control and rejecting what's not in your control. And when we speak about romantic love, friendship, any kind of relationship, the thoughts of the other person are not in your control, but your thoughts are, and how you respond to them, that is in your control. And most people, when they love someone, when they want to be with someone, they expect something. And when you expect something, you're literally putting control in the other person's hand, whether they will give it to you or they will not give it to you. So you make your life miserable, basically. So if you do not know what Stoicism is, and if you do not know about virtues, does anybody know about the Stoic virtues? Nobody knows about Stoic virtues?
But I'm not saying because everyone slept for no reason.
All right. So the Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. In order for you to have a healthy relationship, two Stoic virtues, temperance and wisdom, are the core. Why do I say that? Temperance, you never want to feel excited. Any kind of excited state will probably cause you to make a decision which will harm your relationship. That includes being sad or being too happy. And what happens when you feel excited? What happens? What does excitement do? When the excitement is over, what happens?
There's different reactions. It cannot be one.
Well, most of the time, if you are excited about something and when it ends, you want that thing to repeat. And sometimes it's not in your control. If you're excited about something and it ends, like it's over, your mind is going to be, I want that again because I liked it. And sometimes, or most of the time, when you're in a relationship, there are things that are not available to you immediately. Sometimes the other person not available. Sometimes you need something which you believe will make you feel happy, but it's not available. And you feel miserable when you don't get it. So Stoics say that temperance is one of its core virtues, and they say temperance means balance. Always keep yourself balanced. Practice keeping yourself balanced. And the reason for that is if you're balanced, you will be able to make better decisions because your decisions are not going to be influenced by how excited you felt at a particular moment. And that is important. So since we have spoken about, anybody remember what the 4 Stoic virtues are? Wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. Okay, so keyword moderation or balance, temperance. Moderation, balance, avoid excitement of any kind. I just said avoid excitement of any kind. Does that make a person a robot? Avoiding excitement. I had this conversation with a person on YouTube. If you're not excited about anything, doesn't that make you a robot? Does it or does it not? What does being excited means? Even in the world of physics, what is the state of excitement?
Well, I don't think being not excited makes you a robot. It just means it's just how you approach to the situation.
But what happens when you're too excited about something?
Then we go uncontrolled. We don't know what happens at the end.
Well, in the world of physics, excited states, I'm not going to go too deep into physics, but usually if you're excited, you might end up making a bad decision or a decision that will harm you and somebody that you love because you are pursuing that excitement instead of what's right for you and right for the person that you love. And Stoics, if you ever spoke to Seneca back in the ancient times and some of his accounts, he always said balance, moderation. Don't let your decisions be influenced by desire unless your desire is backed by some reason. That's what he said. Now, what does it mean? Let all your desires be backed by reason. What does that mean?
That whatever action you take, it must have a logical reasoning behind it.
Yeah, logic, yeah. Logic is a different thing than, and I agree with you. I mean, logic, it should be logical.
So my question is, can love be logical?
I mean, if you say the logical only love, if it is in your brain, the love is only a boy and a girl and a youth and gender bias or gender based, then might be 0.5%. But if you talk about love and then talk about it's quite different then.
So do you believe love can be logical or illogical? Like, is it logical or logical?
Well, I believe love to some extent is logical, but it's mostly emotionally driven, irrationally driven.
And because of certain emotions and certain things, I mean, we are all are human beings and we feel sad, we feel happy, you can even feel depressed. The Stoics always said, control yourself, control your mind. In fact, there was a lecture before this one where I said that the entire lecture was just tell your brain to shut up. Like it was that, just tell your brain to shut up. Because sometimes what happens is that you overthink, or even if you think, you're thinking in the incorrect direction because your thinking is influenced by what you desire rather than what's right for you. Most of the time, you will find that sometimes you got something and you didn't like it. Has that ever happened to you? That there was something that you really, really wanted, but after you got it, you were like, this is not bringing me happiness. How many times has that happened?
Always happens.
Why does that happen? Okay, when was the last time any of you desired something but was backed by a reason? There was a meaning behind what you wanted. Seriously, nobody?
Why would we keep our whole heart to you? Why would we keep our secrets to you?
Don't, just say yes or no.
I mean, go ahead. You asking questions. And you're asking for the
Just say yes or no.
It's not logical.
No, just say yes or no.
How many loves you had?
No, not about love. No. I wasn't talking about love. I was talking about anything that you desired, but was backed by reason. Anything. It can be an object, can be a car, can be anything.
हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी काफी. That's my answer.
Okay, I was telling you that there is, of course, a difference between need and want. You may not always want what you actually need. Like, I want to have a very big LED, whereas I need a treadmill. Okay, that's good for my health, but I'm desiring for something which is unhealthy. Most of the time, the want is not based on actual need, and it's not logical. But the practical people are those who bring who try to make their want and need meet. Like you start wanting something which you actually need, and that's what desiring something with some reason. You know?
How does a person do that according to you? How does the person convert their want, like what they need?
Well, with the maturity, like simply, a kid would just, I mean, for example, a shoe, they look good and you desire for them, but they are not very comfortable. They are not very durable, but I'm going after aesthetics, just seeing that they look good. Okay, so you got to think what is more important. If they are not comfortable, if they can give you backache, like walking in those shoes can give you a sort of pain in your legs, it's not practical. So, with the maturity, you try to understand what is good for you and what is not. And then that's the point where your wants, your needs are actually converted into your wants. Okay. Well, most of the time, for immature mind, the want is impulsive.
Yeah, and that's not wise, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not wise. So that is the reason why the Stoic virtues, wisdom and temperance. That's the reason why I said wisdom and temperance. Those two. These are the things I want to speak about, although courage and justice is also going to be. Courage and justice is for attractiveness. We'll get to that later. But let me first focus on why being Stoic can actually make you, in fact, we can talk about this. Why does being a Stoic make you attractive? Why does that happen? Now, if you love somebody and if you truly care about them, then you have to be attractive for them. Now, what do I mean by that? They must want to be with you. Because if you are not attractive and if you don't have certain attributes, then you are robbing that person of having the joy of being attracted to you. Does that make sense? Does anybody understand that? If you're attractive to your partner, you're giving them one of the joys of love. Now, does that make sense? Right. And why are Stoics attractive? Because they have their mind cannot be conquered. It's unbreakable. They don't crack under pressure. Even if a mountain falls on them, they're not going to feel the pain, the pressure. And that is attractive. Why is it attractive? Why is having an absolutely high tolerance level or not breaking at all attractive?
I guess it is just like it doesn't sound very practical, but I think they hide. They're good in hiding their own emotions. As you say, I mean, if they're so like emotionless, उसके ऊपर पहाड़ भी गिर जाए तो उसको पता नहीं लगता, ये जरा गैर हकीकी सी बात लग रही है. लगता है कि वो उसके ऊपर पहाड़ गिरा है, लेकिन शायद वो छुपा रहा है या छुपा सकने का माहिर हो सकता है. लेकिन अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि उससे कोई महसूसात नहीं है,
मैंने ये नहीं कहा,
तो ये नहीं हो सकता.
मैंने कहा था कि अनब्रेकेबल माइंड हो या ऐसा माइंड हो जो कि क्रैक ना हो सके या अंडर प्रेशर क्रैक ना हो सके.
स्ट्रॉन्ग माइंड इज पॉसिबल, बट तकलीफ ना होना इज लाइक, आई डिसएग्री.
नहीं अगर फर्ज करें कि इंसान फर्ज करें कोई इंसान है जिसके अंदर मैं इंटरेस्टेड हूँ, फर्ज करूँ कि हाय मेरे साथ ये हो गया, हाय मेरे साथ वो हो गया, जिंदगी बहुत खराब है, ये हो गया है, मैं क्या करूँ अभी, दिल चाह रहा है मैं मर जाऊँ अभी, ठीक है, मेरे दिल चाह रहा है कि यार कि क्या जिंदगी बहुत खराब है, मैं ये हूँ वो हूँ, तुम मरो सब मरे, उसके साथ क्या कोई होना चाहेगा?
No,
Is it attractive? Like being miserable.
Well, again, it's a very subjective to different societies. I mean, and a different gender, there is a habit to be like earning the sympathies.
Ah, sympathies.
It's again, it's different.
If I gain somebody's sympathy, do they love me or they're just sympathizing? What do you believe?
I disagree. I guess they don't love you. Sympathizing is entirely a different thing.
All right.
Loving someone is entirely different.
So,
in my experience,
so if you're miserable, you might attract a person's sympathy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
But if you are unbreakable, what does that send the message to the other person? If you're unbreakable, if you don't crack under pressure.
In this society, there's a challenge. Challenge.
Well, there is an old English saying that a faint heart wins no fair lady, which means if you are depressed and a sad person, you are not going to be attractive.
Yeah.
You are going to be attractive if you are going to be, if you look calm, if you look courageous, if you look tough, then you are more attractive. And also, liveliness also comes from all these attributes, because if you are sad, you can't be lively. If you are not lively, you're not attractive. Simple as that. Okay, this is the one point, and the second point was what was your question? That go back if you can remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, that's the. Sympathy. Okay, yes. Another saying is it's probably. Some wise person, he said, what you get by pleading is sympathy, not love.
Yeah, true.
What you get by pleading is sympathy, is pity, or mercy, not love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they confuse sympathy with love, which is wrong.
Okay, so how would I would like to get the opinion of people over here. Like I said, that person doesn't crack under pressure. How does a person express that they're in pain? If they have to be unbreakable or unshakable, let's say. If they're unshakable, how do they express pain? Does being unshakable or being unbreakable means that you don't express pain? You don't. If you're miserable, how do you tell somebody that you're miserable?
You don't sulk. I mean, the best way is that you don't sulk. You do discuss your problems, but you don't sulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing is unbreakable mind talks about solutions. You see, if you're speaking about solutions, you're automatically more attractive, and that is something that your partner requires. So for a healthy relationship, instead of talking about problems, talk about solutions more. Talk about how you can help each other. And according to Jordan Peterson, a person that saved me from the brink of disaster and darkness, you can say, he says that love is a mixture of compassion, truth, and encouragement. That's what he said. And I was like, really? Compassion, truth, and encouragement. What does that mean? What does compassion mean, truth, and encouragement? What's the combination? What does that mean? What does it mean? Does anybody tell? If he said that love is a mixture of compassion, truth, and encouragement. Why encouragement?
Why are you looking at me? Look at them and ask them.
Right. All right. So I will basically speak about attractiveness, as that section is not over yet. Person, in order to have a healthy relationship, must focus on inspiring their partner. so they can help them achieve what they want to achieve by being kind of a person that can help them achieve what they want to achieve. And if your love is based on just being together and just fulfilling a duty, then the relationship will fail as soon as one of the partners finds somebody who can encourage them towards a direction or towards what they want. And that is a serious problem, which most people do not actually understand. And why are more people that are basically, that have control over themselves more attractive than people who don't have control over themselves? That is because the people who have control over themselves can speak with more authority, and what they say they can back up with evidence, and what they desire they can back up with evidence. People who do not have control or sometimes say things or do things that they themselves do not know why they're doing or saying. That's a problem. We already spoke about this, but a healthy relationship, you cannot appear like you are slavish. What does that mean? That means if, like, there is this concept about, there's not a concept, in fact, on social media, girls get immediately repelled by people who appear needy. There's this word needy. Don't appear needy, because you are kind of being a slave to the person whom you're attracted to. You're kind of letting them have control over you. And people do not find that attractive. And I'm talking about friendship as well. Trust me, if you have a friend and you call them up and you tell them that, hey, let's spend time together, and you kind of have that, if you kind of give them that impression that you need them, they're eventually repelled, even repelled. So in romantic love, they're going to get repelled too, and that's going to lead to fights, and eventually you'll end up losing the person that you love. I'm going to speak about the romantic love in Stoicism, as in where does it lie in the world of Stoicism. So in Stoicism, romantic love is a preferred indifferent. Stoics do not believe that you require a romantic, loving partner to lead a happy life. They only think that you need wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice to lead a happy life. Preferred indifferent in the world of Stoicism is that if you get it, it's a good thing. But if you don't let it bother you much. Because we might know other people who got the romantic partner that they wanted and were absolutely miserable after getting that. Because there's so many things, according to the Stoics, when you're involved with somebody, things are not in your control. And that is the reason why it is a preferred indifferent. If you get it, good. But if you don't, there are advantages to also not be involved with somebody. There's an advantage, there's a disadvantage. Disadvantage, of course, you might feel this, you might feel empty. That's true. But trust me, if you have a romantic partner that basically doesn't fulfill you, you will feel more empty. So now what happens when you're not wise in a relationship? And why do Stoics say that you should be wise? Why do they say study, educate? And all of the Stoics, they read philosophers of the past, and they listen to everybody. Why is that? Because if you are wise, you will make wise decisions, not the decisions that you desire. You will not make decisions based on your desire, because sometimes what you desire is not right for you and for the person that you claim to love. If you're wise, you will be able to make the correct decision for you and your partner. But if you're not wise, then you'll end up making a decision which will be backed by your desire, but not by reason. And when you are wise, you'll be able to analyze all situations and hopefully make a decision based on what is available at the time and the things that you can control. But you cannot do that if you're just like, we should do this because this is what I want. Okay, what about what other people want, or what about what your partner wants, or what about your future generations? How will they respond to this decision? Basically, the opposite of wisdom is foolishness. And if you let your desire rule your mind, you will end up making foolish decisions. You will appear needy, you will appear impulsive, and you will appear a person that really takes bad decisions based on just what they desire at that particular moment, and don't think about the bigger picture. And if you keep on doing that, even if you're married or in a relationship or you're in a romantic relationship, you'll end up hurting your partner in the long run if you do not make wise decisions. Because wise decisions are going to be helpful in building a future which most people do not think about. People think about what they want, but not about what the wise choice is and what the right choice is for everybody involved in the relationship. So Stoics did talk about love, but the love they spoke about was not romantic love, it was selfless love, where you give something, but you do not expect anything in return. Because if you love someone, most of the time in the world today, when you love somebody, you expect something in return. But selfless love is you love for the sake of loving. You don't expect something in return. Because if you expect something in return, then whether the love or the thing that you want, it's in the other person's hand. Whereas selfless love is always in your hand. And Stoics say that selfless love is the kind of love that a person should have, because you never put control in the other person's hand. So Seneca spoke about selfless love a lot. So I've already spoken about let all your desires be backed by reason. So now I'm going to basically ask, because without this is an interactive session. What is a meaningful relationship? What does that mean? Meaningful relationship. I see that. What is a relationship? Now add meaningful in front of it.
Yeah, it varies. Relationship varies. A relationship doesn't mean a love affair or romance between a boy and a girl. Relationship is different. But if you call in a real English relationship, as we call in UK and in America and Europe, that means a romantic relationship between a girl and boy.
Meaning. What does it mean to add meaning to something?
Adding something, adding and
Yeah.
Mutually fulfilling.
Yeah, mutually fulfilling, exactly. A meaningful relationship is one which you're in, but it leads to something. There is a purpose behind it. And most people, they're in a relationship or they're married, they're just following the norms, or they're just going with the flow of the world. They're just like bubbles in the river. So basically, if you're a bubble in the river, you will pop one day. And Stoics believe that we are all bubbles in the river, but there are certain bubbles which can add meaning to this world. And when you are a Stoic, you always think about how you can make this world a less miserable place. The difference between nihilism and Stoicism is that nihilism basically is that, well, the world is meaningless and you have to find a meaning, or you have to define your meaning. The Stoics have already given you a goal. The goal is life will end, life is meaningless, but do as much good as you can. That is why we're responsible for doing as much good as we can, because we will die one day and everything will end. Everything's meaningless. But that is better to be good and make the world a less miserable place, as that will hopefully make the future generations happy. That is what basically the Stoics believed in. So, what does it mean to basically sin against yourself in a relationship? What is the greatest sin that you can commit in a relationship, except for cheating? I'm not talking about that. Cheating is like, it's bad. We all know that's bad. But what is the main thing that you can get, that is the sin that people do not focus on in a romantic relationship, and they end up making that? I've spoken about this like many times, but I want to know if people got it.
Fooling yourself. Fooling yourself.
That is correct. 100% correct. Fooling yourself and knowing exactly what is required to mend things, but refusing to do that. You know, but you let your ego get in the way. You let your desires get in the way. You let your games be in the way. The games that are played on social media, the games that we all know about. The thing that you can commit is you make life miserable for the person that you love and miserable for yourself. And it takes two to tango. Sometimes when you're in a romantic relationship, you sometimes find out that this person is not right for you. By being with them longer, you are committing a sin against yourself and against them. Sometimes things cannot be mended. Sometimes you know that this relationship is not meaningful. If you continue in the relationship, you are not making the world a better place for you and for your romantic partner. You are basically destroying yourself and destroying the person that you claim to love. If you love, selfless love is what? Hey, go and live a fulfilling life with or without me. That's selfless love. But people are like, if it doesn't include me, no chance. Selfless love is, I don't care whether it includes me or not. I want you to be happy. But I can recommend you these things, because these are the things that I believe are right. But if sacrificing me is going to lead to your happiness, I'm willing to do that. So that is selfless love. If you ever in a romantic relationship feel lost, focus on the 4 Stoic virtues that we spoke about: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Justice for yourself and for your partner. That is, don't let your partner make a mistake that will cost them something. You don't make a mistake that will cost you something. That is justice. You have to be just to yourself, to your partner. If they're making a mistake, stop them from making a mistake, but it should be logical. The mistake should not be making a mistake that can cost them dearly. Stop them from doing it. Wisdom, you can make wise choices. Courage, you don't want to be the kind of a partner who just pushes their partner in front of any problem. You don't want to be that. And temperance is balance, basically. It's just balance. You also have to understand that when you know yourself, because knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom, I believe Plato said that. Are you attracted to somebody, or do you really love that person? You have to understand that, because if you're attracted, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in love with them. Attraction and love are two different things. People think that the person that they're attracted to is the person that they love. That's not true. Attraction or sexual attraction is different. And if you want that person, if you're attracted to somebody and you want that person to be with you, or you want to be with them, well, guess what? Their availability is not in your hand. And now, since their availability is not in your hand, you keep thinking about them, you're making your life more miserable. So, in order to lead a less miserable life, if you're attracted to somebody, immediately recognize that you're attracted to them and do everything that's necessary to balance yourself so their attraction doesn't overwhelm you and you end up making bad decisions in your life. You end up losing focus on work, losing the desire to live, or maybe even get suicidal. Remember that, according to the Stoics, a wise decision doesn't necessarily have to be the decision that you desire or the thing that you want. And Stoicism, you won't master Stoicism overnight. It's a gradual process. It'll take years. It's not like Buddhism, where the Buddhism is actually like let go of desires. You should have desires backed by reason, and you should always focus on doing what is right at the time to make the world a less miserable place for those that are with you, those that are around you, and for the future generations. If you do that, you'll have a fulfilling life, even if you do not get the Stoic preferred indifference, which are riches, glory, fame, romantic love, friends, all of these things you won't get. But if you practice Stoicism, you will still have a more fulfilling life, as the 4 Stoic virtues are available to you at all times. They're in your control. The wisdom, choices that you make, your temperance, everything, these are the virtues. They are in you. You just have to make yourself better at them. Thank you very much. Q&A. So we're moving on to the Q&A if everyone wants to ask a question.
सवाल ये है कि आपने कहा ना कि there is difference between love and attraction. So could you please explain how can we differentiate between these two things?
Knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom, as Plato said. You have to know yourself to basically understand whether you're attracted to somebody or you love somebody. Love, generally speaking, if you value their existence and you want them to exist for a higher purpose, it's love, generally speaking.
You get a different thing. When you love someone, it means you have to surrender your all desires, all needs in front of the person you love.
Surrender yourself in front of the other person.
I mean, the desires.
Whether you're a romantic partner or you're in a battle?
No, it's not about the battle. I mean, you have to accept the differences. You have to appreciate appreciate the similarities. That's what the good relations, I think.
Yeah, but if like, let's say if I'll actually, it's difficult for me to understand. Like surrender, I don't understand the surrender part.
No, I mean, we are not competing the other person, okay? So we have to, like you said, there are different approaches. Courage, wisdom, temperance, balancing these sort of things. But sir, I personally believe love is a completely different thing. When you love someone, it means you have to simply love the person. You have to accept the differences. You have to appreciate the similarities.
Different. You mean, are you saying differences as in the things that are not like the romantic partner is different? Like
yeah.
I didn't even speak about that. Of course, they can be different. I didn't say that. Like during this lecture, an individual can have different hobbies.
Yes.
They can like different things. They might not like the TV show that you like. Right. So yeah, that is true. I mean, they can be.
Then how can we balance these things?
Yeah.
When you are sitting together with your partner.
Yeah.
And
these things are trivial. Basically, if your partner doesn't like a particular TV show that you like, well, and if you're concerned about that, then that's pretty trivial. It's not. If a person doesn't like what you like, it doesn't if your romantic partner doesn't like what you like, how is it affecting you negatively? Just that you won't be able to be a part of their life for that particular moment. And you spoke about similarity. So if they like coffee and they like tea, you can still sit together and they can have tea and they can have coffee. Try to find things where you can, mutually interact instead of focusing on things which you think that you cannot interact with. It's not necessary. In fact, it's a good thing. Like, let's say, for example, in fact, it is also an advantage. You see, in Stoicism, if you're wise, you will accept the things that you can control and the things that you cannot. If somebody, let's say like video games, the other person likes cricket, and you cannot really ask them, hey, let's play cricket because that's basically, that is the thing that I like. I'm like, I don't like it. I'm like, okay, fine. But what do you like? I'm like, I like this, I like that. And you'll be like, okay, so I like this. How about we do this?
Okay, so thank you.
If I didn't answer your question correctly, you can basically.
Was when he said surrendering desires means surrendering ego,
Right.
like submission. But I think you have talked about in your talk, you have talked about slavish
Yeah.
attitude. So that covers that thing. It's not the submission is not the it doesn't do relationship any good.
It's
really.
unattractive.
Yes, it's not
It's
attractive.
unattractive.
Yeah, okay.
You can, of course, tell the other person that you like their presence. You can tell them that you like their presence. You want to spend time with them and do meaningful things. But, yeah.
I agree with that.
The mic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful conversation, and it just a comment that more likely I was expecting that it'd be more wider
Right.
to talk about to relationship, and I was expecting that you'll speak about this society, and they might help for younger generation and boys and girls. I would like to ask, there's a criminal offense, there's a criminal involvement, crime involvement in relationship, whereas we call it date rape. Yeah? You understand what is a date rape?
No. I'm not. I'm sorry, I don't.
All right. So I don't think that I should prolong my question, because if you don't, let me just if the dear audience doesn't mind, I will just like say it. Yeah. So thank you. So in this society, I would just like very humbly express that there are attraction and romance and love and need. Everything is muddled up. यहाँ पे कुछ clear नहीं है, clarity नहीं है. फिर norms are way higher than expectations. And moreover is a religion. And then social aspect of the relationship. So I was expecting this. But I'm coming back, as you said, date rape. There are many sexual infatuations and attractions covered by sympathies, empathies, romance, and love, which always are mostly end up with the crime, which is a date rape. As what is a date rape? I would like calling a person as, and I would surrender ego, whatever we talked about just now. But that was all a trick. There'll be a trick. But when it comes to you might, female or a male, pretend to be sincere, but in fact, it is not. Desire behind is evil. It is not love. Yeah. And most of the crime happens when you just fake trust on yourself and to the other. You're not very clear. As you said, the wisdom comes with the experience, exposure, and time. You are not born with the wisdom, I guess. But in society, which is very vulnerable, like I would clearly say Pakistan, the girl or boy can be very clearly, trapped in this कि जी मोहब्बत हो गई है और मुलाकात भी ज़रूरी है और मुलाकात भी वहाँ होनी चाहिए जहाँ पे भी हो दूसरा को बंदा ना हो, खामोशी हो, मुझे दिल की बातें करनी है। तो वो दिल की बातें तो बहुत पीछे रह जाती हैं, जिस्म की बातें शुरू हो जाती हैं जहाँ पे वो रेप हो जाता है। आई वॉज एक्सपेक्टिंग कि ये क्रिमिनल उस पर बात यहाँ पे होगी या होनी चाहिए। तो वो जो डेट रेप है वो बज़ाहिर तो डेट का नाम दिया जाता है, ये सिर्फ यूरोप में नहीं होता, ये यहाँ भी होता है। तो मुलाकात की सूरत लड़का या लड़की, आई वुड नॉट ब्लेम, बट इन दिस सोसाइटी because the girl is very vulnerable, so mostly I myself is a woman and went through a lot. Women always believe that they are going to get a security in the shape of man. So they fall early. They fall early. And then when they get into this mulaqat, they mostly end up with crime.
Yeah, that's the reason why Stoicism has has one of the virtues, wisdom.
Yeah.
So if a girl is wise, she'll be able to identify that this person is like that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So I would, as you said, it should be. But again, if there's another subject, body serum. Behind your excitement, there are body serum. Have you ever heard about it, my dear?
I know about the
dopamine.
chemical releases. I know about those.
Yeah.
But I mean, I cannot go into biology much because I'm not very well versed in the biology of that.
Right. I don't think I would be speaking on this because, you know, you are a speaker here and I just don't want to, isko
I acknowledge that. My response to that is that Stoicism, wisdom is one of the virtues. Train a woman to identify what is a threat.
Yeah.
She'll not be date raped if she's wise.
Yeah.
Agree. Right? And I know certain women who are good enough that they say that this guy is being nice. He just basically is being nice. In exchange, I give him something.
Yeah.
So I know such women that are wise.
Yeah.
That know that they cannot spend time with this person because this person intends to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
But the percentage is very less.
Wise people in the world are very less.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if it was, this world is ruled by foolishness. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, look at the systems of the world.
Yeah.
If people were wise, we would be less miserable, I suppose. Not I suppose. I mean, I think.
Yeah. बस अब मैं कोई और भी बात करें ना, आप मुझे आप. Yeah, please.
So, first, am I audible? Yeah. So, firstly, this session is very good, and I feel very healthy after hearing this healthy relationship advices. I don't have any question, but I have a comment that, according to me, what healthy relationship is where I'm feeling healthy. What does it mean that where I am feeling I am good at my mental capacity, the person is not toxic enough that he is taking or draining all of my mental capability and mental energies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing is like, there are many girls we don't know about the healthy relationships. They are living the life in toxic relationship, and where I think is the person's point is submissive, or the person that black shirt wants to say is there is a man, there is a person or a man, we can say those a person basically surrender themselves. Like they said, they love other person unconditionally. They consider themselves all over the one sole person that you are my everything. I want everything. I don't want everything. I want only you. So there is, so there are many people that don't know about they know about toxic relationships. And when we talk about this wisdom, justice, I know these are those Stoic wisdom approaches. Approaches, but the girls and the boys don't think of it, don't consider themselves. They are very sometimes very toxic in relationships. Yeah.
So the reason why people are toxic in relationships is because they don't have they haven't trained their temperance. You have to train being temperate. It doesn't. what I'd say is that you have to train being temperate. It doesn't come automatically. You have to train being temperate. You have to train yourself to not to avoid excitement. And I'm not talking about to be a robot. I'm talking about excitement which can upset your balance. So the reason why people are the way that they are and the surrender thing was because they don't have control over their temperance. They're not temperate. So that's the reason for most toxic relationships, because they're not balanced. But you're correct about the healthy relationship thing and everything. That the reason, first of all, it is true that sometimes you need people to tell you what you're doing is wrong. That is true, and that's the reason why Stoics have, Seneca spoke about selfless love, is because you help the other person without wanting anything back. And if all of us had selfless love, then we would stop other people from making a mistake, or we'd be saying like, listen, what you're doing right now, this is incorrect. If you claim to love that person, what you're doing is actually hurting them. And or accept that you don't love them. Accept that you just want to be with them because you're attracted to them, and then you want to basically just use them physically. Or accept it at least. Don't say that you love them, because that'll be a lie. And lying is it's actually according to Stoics, pretty bad. Like Marcus Aurelius said, if it's not true, don't say it. If it's not right, don't do it.
Difference between falling for sympathy and emotional manipulation?
Emotional manipulation seems to be an act. It is an action, as far as I can tell. Whereas sympathy is, as far as I can tell, if I feel sympathy for somebody, I analyze that person and I feel like they need help for a particular reason. Whereas if I'm being emotionally manipulated, the other person is actively trying to get that sympathy out of me, even though I don't, trying to get sympathy out of me, basically. Like, emotional manipulation is when you are using certain tactics to get the person to do something. Sympathy is when you do the thing that you want to do because you've analyzed a particular situation or a particular person and you believe that they need help. If I didn't answer your question correctly, please ask it in another way and I'll probably answer.
This may sound a very childish and immature question, but how does one get into a relationship in the first place?
You don't have to get into a relationship, number one. It's a preferred indifferent in the world of the Stoics. Okay? How does a person get into a relationship? Just be attractive, improve yourself, work on the things that you believe are making you unattractive. Work on those, right? Or wait for the right person to enter into a relationship with you, which can happen. Like if there's a particular type of girl who feels attracted to a certain kind of a person that happens to be you, then. But then it will be like you'll have to accept whatever that person is. But if you're active, if you're attractive, and if you are willing to put in the work required to be a formidable human being, you will probably be considered an option by many people. And being considered an option is not a bad thing. You're providing them an opportunity to get to know you and hopefully turn that friendship or that initial contact into a meaningful relationship which can help people around and yourself and everybody.
I have one more question. How to build healthy boundaries in relationship?
I think there was a lecture on that actually. The healthy boundaries in relationships. Well, first of all, you have to work on your wisdom, right? What is the boundary? Like, what is the time where you have to say, okay, just don't step over here. Like that is the limit. Don't, all right? Now, healthy boundaries are this that one of the things that people do not speak about is when you have to stop the other person from making a mistake. That is something that people don't speak about, because there is a thing like, if you see your partner having 10 cups of coffee per day, it's bad for them, right? You set a boundary for them, 5. And if you're talking about your boundary with that person, then your wisdom is going to tell you at what time you have to tell them to listen. You're really, what you're doing is affecting my work. It's going to harm us in the long run. I cannot allow you to harm yourself. You have to tell that person, I cannot allow you to harm yourself. When you do this, you're not letting me work. You're harming yourself because you're harming me. Or you can just say you're harming yourself because, and you can also say that, let's say, for example, you find that there is something that person is doing which is incorrect, right? You don't tell that person that you're incorrect. You say that I'm doing this, I'm setting this boundary because I cannot send you a message that you can take advantage of a nice person like me. Because you come across another nice person, you're going to do the same thing. So you have a higher purpose. It's not you, it's a higher purpose that you have to set a boundary so that they don't end up doing that same thing with somebody else who could be their close relative or something. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have another question that if I get something or some person, the person who I was thinking about for many times, but then when after I getting him or my feeling that that's done,
Yeah.
then I don't want to text him or I don't want that thing like if I have an iPhone, I want now iPhone 15, do I have 12? So then how can I control myself? That's also a problem, I guess.
Yeah, it's a problem with girls these days. It's the reason why that is because they're unfortunately, and there's no better way to say it. If you take a look at the other person, and that person is being with that person is going to lead to something, or there's a purpose behind that, then you will not feel unattractive after. You'll not feel bad after that person is in your life. If the reason why this is happening to you is because you want a certain person. When that person wants you back, the goal is over. You've achieved what you wanted to achieve. So basically, you not wanting to be with that person is exactly the result that you should expect. I mean, did you think about that far, whoever XYZ, whoever the person was, that if I get together with this person, we are going to achieve this? Had you thought about that, probably you wouldn't have. Like, you dream about a person as if they are a thing to achieve. Once you get them, you have achieved your goal. That's it. That's over. It's natural to feel like you don't need them anymore because you honestly don't. I mean, I don't know you, but wisdom says that this is what happened. So if your goal is to build a future with a person, if your goal is to serve a purpose, if your goal is to basically help make the world a better place, help people, help them with their career, help them exist better, help them get better education, some purpose, selfless, with or without you. You don't need to be romantically involved with the person that you. I mean, you don't need to be. Love and romantic love are two different things. If you cannot get romantic love, just love the person, just for the heck of it. You know, altruism, being nice for the sake of being nice. You practice that. You'll have a fulfilling life. Just be nice for the sake of being nice.
देखिए, ये जो उन्वान है स्टोइक विजडम फॉर हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप, तो मैं इसमें जब कलीदी लफ्ज़ ढूंढने की कोशिश करता हूँ तो हेल्दी मुझे दिखाई देता है। और मेरे जहन में ये आता है कि अच्छा, एक तो ये है कि रिलेशनशिप भी और हेल्दी हो या ना हो, लेकिन रिलेशनशिप भी बाज़ औक़ात इट टेक्स टाइम। ओवरनाइट आपके रिलेशनशिप नहीं बनते। आप किसी के साथ उठते बैठते हैं, मामला करते हैं, देखते हैं, तो वो डेवलप होता है। इट टेक्स टाइम। और हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप के लिए हेल्थ भी हमेशा टाइम लेती है, लेकिन आपको अपनी सेहत का भी ख्याल रखना होता है। ये मैं जो जिस्मानी आर्ज़े हैं या ज़हनी आर्ज़े हैं, मैं उनको इसके साथ जोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि जिस तरह आप अपने फिज़िकल या मेंटल हेल्थ के इश्यूज़ को एड्रेस करते हैं, तो रिलेशनशिप में भी अगर कहीं दरार आ जाए या कहीं कोई बदगुमानी हो या खदशात हो, तो उसको एड्रेस करना ज़रूरी है। इट इज़ नॉट अ क्वेश्चन बट ऑब्जर्वेशन एंड कमेंट के एक मीनिंगफुल कम्युनिकेशन जो है, मैं समझता हूँ कि इट इज़ वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट कीज़, ताकि आप उन बीमारियों को रिलेशनशिप को गारत करने से रोकें। यहाँ रमल बैठी हैं, इन्होंने भी कुछ हफ्तों पहले अपनी टॉक दी थी द की टू हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स, तो उसके अंदर भी यही गुफ्तगू हुई थी। तो बस मैं ये चाहूँगा कि हमारे जितने दोस्त हमें सुन रहे हैं, जो बैठे हैं, वो इस चीज़ का एहसास करें कि रिलेशनशिप बनाना, जो ब्लड रिलेशनशिप है वो तो चलो आपको बने बनाए मिल जाते हैं, लेकिन जो आप खुद बनाते हैं वो एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी भी है, वो एक बहुत बड़ी ब्लेसिंग भी है। लेकिन उनको संवारना, निखारना, पायदार बनाना और लॉन्ग लास्टिंग बनाना, इसके लिए विजडम चाहिए, इसके लिए समझदारी चाहिए, हौसला चाहिए, दरगुजर का, सिला रहमी का एक जज्बा चाहिए। और आई थिंक कि जो स्टोइक वर्च्यूज़ है वो ये सारी चीज़ें ऑफ़र करती हैं। एंड और आज की गुफ्तगू में भी वही उसी तरफ इशारा हुआ। आई थॉरली एंजॉयड इट। एनीवन एल्स? आपका कोई?
Anybody else question?
Sir, I don't know if you remember me or not. I was in your last session and I said something absurd. I said that Seneca was a hedonist. He was not actually a Stoic philosopher, but it was not true.
Yes. I didn't respond to it because Stoicism says you're not supposed to respond if in fact people said that you should have,
but you could have told me that you are wrong.
The reason why I didn't say it is because at that time I was like, I mean, it wasn't really harming. Like, people can be wrong, right? It's not thing. I could have said that, but this is the thing in Stoicism. If I'm practicing Stoicism, I have to assume that the other person might be correct. Leave a margin, leave a. I practice it, right?
Yeah, you are never 100% right. You are 90% right always.
I mean, like Marcus Aurelius said,
not you, but anyone.
Even if I'm 5% right, I'll be glad, right? Marcus Aurelius said everything you hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything you see is a perspective.
Everything is opinion. He said that in his book Meditations.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason why I did not correct it, I was like, probably I'm wrong, even though he wrote letters from a Stoic. Seneca wrote it.
I came to know it from a book of Ryan Holiday. He's a writer, and in his book Stillness is a Key, he said that few disciples of Seneca said that he was a hedonist, but he was not.
Letters from a Stoic is Seneca. So
I came to know about it.
Yeah. So what I was basically saying at that time, the reason why I didn't say that is because I always assume that the other person might be correct. So unless I'm 100% sure, and even if I know I'm correct, I say that I think you should take a look at that. And if I'm incorrect, then let me know. That's what I say. I don't think he said, no, you're wrong. I don't say that. I don't say that.
Yeah. And I thought that Stoicism and relationship are totally opposite to each other, because you see that Stoicism, I mean, it tells you to work hard and not to be attracted by others, and
no, I didn't
simply. But it's a cool way to think about it, right? Stoicism.
Yeah, Stoicism doesn't. I don't believe that they're in indifference. But they do not specifically tell you not to do this. They just say, do not do the opposite of the Stoic virtues.
Yeah.
That's what they definitely say. But I mean, if I'm incorrect, you can tell that, as far as I can tell, they don't say not to be attracted. They say that if you're not attracted, if you don't find love, you won't die. That's basically their message.
Yeah.
Because it's in a preferred indifferent. However, if somebody corrects me, I'll be.
Now, there are some people who really embrace the life of a monk, where a monk never has a relationship, and
I mean,
that is not true. Holy Stoic, that's not true. Come on.
Probably I'm wrong here.
I am sorry to be abrupt. I'm so sorry to be.
Yeah, probably I'm wrong here.
You need to learn more. You need to improve. You need to study.
Yeah,
more.
okay,
That's
okay.
why.
I get it. I get it.
All right, sir, madam, we have to. Any other questions? This session is basically about questions. The more questions you ask, the better it'll be.
Okay, this is a follow-up question from my previous one. Okay, so
Okay.
if what in case of a breakup?
If you broke up with somebody and if you're still alive, it means that was your life working before you met them?
It was.
Yeah, so it's still working, right? Yeah, that's my basically answer. I mean, before you met them, it was working, right? After you broke up with them, it's still working. Of course, the fact is that when you develop a bond with somebody, you have to be careful that you don't end up harming yourself by being so involved with them and being involved with them to a degree which is which is not meaningful. After that, when they break up, you'll basically you will find their absence, which is fine. You can feel the emptiness when a person leaves you. But if you let that happiness affect you, then you're the person that you're basically the problem. You should not let it affect. It happens. You can miss the person. Don't let that missing that person affect you to such a degree where you just stop eating, sleeping, doing other things, looking at their pictures for hours.
अगर आप लोगों ने आज का सेशन एंजॉय किया तो आई वुड लाइक टू हाईलाइट के स्टोइसिज्म के ऊपर आतिश के से पहले 3 लेक्चर्स हो चुके हैं. मैं खाली उनका उन्वान बोल देता हूँ. कंकरिंग एंजाइटी, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन एंड ड्रेड विद स्टोइसिज्म, ये जनवरी में हुआ है. मार्च में हुआ है फ्रॉम केओस टू काम, अप्लाइंग स्टोइक प्रिंसिपल्स फॉर अ मोर फुलफिलिंग लाइफ. और मार्च ही क्या अख्ताम आखिरी हफ्ते में होता है, कनकर योर माइंड विद द पावर ऑफ स्टोइसिज्म. और ये आज का लेक्चर है, स्टोइक विजडम फॉर हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप्स. तो पिछले जो लेक्चर हैं वो आप द ब्लैक होल के यूट्यूब चैनल पे जाएं, आतिश का नाम लिखें तो आपको वहाँ पे मिल जाएंगे. जब आप इन आज के लेक्चर की तरह बाकी 3 लेक्चर देखेंगे तो बहुत से डॉट्स मज़ीद कनेक्ट हो जाएंगे. आपको एक बेहतर रास्ता मिलेगा, एक वाइज, एक मोर फुलफिलिंग रास्ता मिलेगा अपनी ज़िंदगी को संवारने और बेहतर बनाने का. और प्लीज़ डोंट मिस इट. कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for coming.